From last week in the hills of Japan, we now come to, very much so, the hills of Georgia here for Road Atlanta for round 2 of the Svenska Eracingligan GT3 Season 5, and I am joined by Tony Trapasso today in the booth. Hello, Tony.
Jason, always a pleasure to come to Hot Atlanta, and that's not cool. Sorry. It's always a good time to come to Hot Atlanta, and especially in the GT3 cars. You know, I don't get to experience GT3 racing enough in the sim. It's always a good time whenever we can break out the road racing.
Yeah, it is a great time, and bring up some race info for today. So around the 4.06 kilometer track at Road Atlanta, it's going to be a pretty nice air temp of 24 degrees Celsius, 38 track temp. So seems to be fairly warm out there today. I don't think the sim can go much higher, to be honest, as qualifying is underway. I do not believe we have a points graphic ready as such, but ooh, my racing's not liking those trees. We will have a read of the points once I get them up.
Qualifying sitting underway right now is quite a few cars already out on track trying to get some heat into those big Michelin tires.
Yeah, just going to be following Linus Broström here on his out lap in that 71 Ferrari. One of 3 Ferraris we've got on our grid today. There's definitely more of a car spread today than we had in Suzuka. Don't get me wrong, it's still very much Mercedes dominated, but we do have some more cars here, and with that, let me quickly run you through your top 10 in points at the moment. Gustav Jonsson is sat on 275 points after the last race, with Sam Hammerstedt being only 3 points behind, actually tied with Henrik Lindhoff. Jukka Höö, I think I remember that correctly,
Yes.
is sat 40 points behind your joint second place on 232, with William Pauna in 5th. Then we've got Oscar Fredriksson, Daniel Homer, Tim Orskog, Andre Selander, and Jonas Gunnarsson rounding out your top 10. He is sitting 100 points behind Gustav up in the lead. So, very much so tight at the top already, with 3 points separating on the top 3.
As you would expect, early going here in a series like this. But, these guys are going to get it sorted out. They're going to get it figured out. And as we always see, Jason, the cream is definitely going to rise to the crop or the cream is going to rise to the top as this series blasts forward with, oh my.
Yeah, time to get that timing screen up, as yeah, that's
So that's a thing.
that's very
Sam
much a thing.
picking up where he left off in practice, half a second to the good over anyone else.
Yeah, he is well and truly showing that he deserves to be up there, as still firmly 5/10 clear of anyone else. Let me get the gap up as well, just so that you can see exactly what we're looking at. In fact, let's I was going to say, let's see what he might be doing. Going back to the pits is what he might be doing. Sure.
So one and done for Hammerstedt. Everybody else is gonna. You're allowed up to 3.
Yeah. Looks like when I went on to Gustav Jonsson, I don't think this lap is going to be quicker. I think I saw him off the track.
Possibly.
It's Jesper Eriksson.
Yes, he negated the first sector.
Yeah. Jesper Eriksson now up to second place.
And he's able to claw his way a little bit further closer. What was a half a second is now 4/10.
Yeah, and shall we go to Linus Dahlman and stay on board for a lap if he completes this one?
That sounds like a grand idea.
So we were already moving through turn one when we decided this. A lovely right-hand sweeper, and then you've got I believe it's the S's that they're called. Probably should have a little bit more research, but
no, you're correct.
Yeah, coming through. Left, right, left, right. Who knows how many times until you get the final left, trying to extend as much as possible onto the right-hand side before a short straight down to a double right-hander. Pretty tricky to get the power down out of the second one onto the back straight, the longest straight here at Road Atlanta. And this is where you're going to be seeing a lot of moves made, because we're coming down now towards the chicane. Coming downhill, looking to the right-hand side for your braking boards. You've got some handy markers on the road as well for the left-right chicane. Take as much curb as you dare, and then come for another sweeping right-hander, this time downhill, to finish off what is a pretty short lap for GT3 standards.
It is, and Jason, you kind of touched on one issue that we're probably going to see rear its head tonight, as the iRacing update that rolled out yesterday for season 13, or for week 13, I should say. There's a new damage model that it will fatigue the more you punish the car.
Yeah.
So if you take too much curb, you could snap a suspension arm before the race is over.
You very much could, and it's not something we're used to, so it very much so may rear its head, as we've got a few drivers out in qualifying now, and still 3 minutes to go on our qualifying session. Just looking at Philip Axelsson now, as he is coming towards the chicane. Looks like he might be going quicker. Track split up into 4 sectors on iRacing. Sector 2 was quicker, Sector 1 and 3 were not, so we'll see how he goes. Across the line, that's firmly slower, unfortunately for him.
Unfortunately for the 60 of Frederick Carlson, he negated the lap he's currently on, which is going to be his final attempt. Did get a clean time in lap 2, but lap 3 is going to be negated due to track limits. But that's definitely something we're going to have to keep an eye on with, how much curbing are you going to be able to take without the suspension arms snapping clean off the car. We saw some good examples of that at Darlington last night in the series we were broadcasting, and let's face it, these aren't quite as robust as a next-gen car.
Yeah, probably not so much on the bodywork side, though. I'd say the suspension would be pretty similar. These cars are definitely made to hammer those curbs, and hopefully we won't be seeing anything happening regarding curbs and suspensions.
Well, the good news is this track doesn't have those big sausage curbs. I think it's going to be a track like Monza or Fuji, where we're going to, to really see the curbing punish the daylights out of a car, spa even.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting one to see how that really affects us. I mean, not necessarily expecting it to do all too much, considering obviously cars can run a 24-hour race in real life, and it shouldn't do too much if you're taking curbs normally, but if you hit them very wrong, then it could start to go very wrong for you. But hopefully we don't see that, as there's only 15 or so seconds left in the qualifying session now. So once that is over, we'll be able to get to the grid and let you know of the grid for our first race of 2, which today, with the differing formats per race, we are going to be having a 25-minute sprint for race 1 and then 40 minutes for race 2. At Suzuka it was 20 and 45, this time taken 5 off the second one, 5 on to the first. But Tony, let's have a look at the grid.
Yeah, absolutely. Cars starting to roll out of the paddock and get to the grid. Sam Hammerstedt, as we mentioned earlier, quickest in practice, quickest in qualifying, going to start in the number 1 position. He's going to be joined with the Oscar Ericsson. Oscar Fredriksson and Gustav Jonsson rolling off in row number 2. Row 3, Hendrik Lindhoff and Michael Haldifson. Jonas Gunnarsson and Jocko Ware in row number 4. Row 5 sees in all Philip Rowe with Philip Ansel and Philip Axelson in 9th and 10th. And rounding out your top 12, Sebastian Magnussen and Tim Arskud.
Yeah, and then in 13th we've got William Palmer, and 14th Linus Dahlman. 15th is going to bring Daniel Holmer and Linus Broström, with another Linus in 17th, the form of Linus Helleberg, and Fredrik Karlsson in 18th. Håkan Hurt in 19th with Christian Sørensen in 20th. Anton Öhman in 21st with Andre Salander in 22nd. And Oliver Krusell and Philip Broberg rounding out the top 24 with Marcus Strömberg, Pontus Nordgren, Joachim Ulrichsen, Robert Eriksson, Robert Lundgren, and then Marcus Stiller rounding out your grid of exactly 30 cars. A nice round number for us today, Tony.
Absolutely. I mean, good round number. It looks like Eriksson and Lundgren are not going to grid up for this one. Let me just see if they're actually here. Yes, they are in the building, but they are not on the grid. They're going to elect to pit start those vehicles.
Maybe not the worst idea, as it is a short track, so we're going for a full formation lap here before the race, and well, to me it looks like there's one team firmly up front in this one, Tony.
Yeah. And that would be the group from Forza Esports. And I'm not sure which division of that these guys are in, but that is a strong showing by that team already, as your top 11 are all Mercedes vehicles.
Yeah, top 11 all Mercedes and top 5 all Forza Esports. With AM Racing Team Michael Haflidason being the first non-Porsche car. Joined by his teammate alongside him. That's probably going to help out, so we're not expecting to see fireworks up at the top of the grid, that's for sure, but This turn 1 with 30 cars rolling into it, I'm gonna be honest, Tony, I would be surprised if nothing happens. There's very much so an outside wall that could come into play.
Yeah, this could get very ugly very quickly as, of course, my track map just went away. So I can't even tell where we are. But, you know, it's going to be an interesting turn 1, that's for darn sure, Jason. And, you know, definitely something that these guys are going to have to be mindful of as they get ready to put it in there. Pace truck should be peeling off now. There it goes, as Hammerstadt going to bring us down for the preliminary race. And green flag is out, and we are underway as 4 wide down the front straightaway.
Yep, more can you expect here at Road Atlanta, and as we see, top 5 as they were. Speaking of, Yokover getting a good start here, up 1 position already. Looks like side by side nearly for Philip Axelsson and Philip Ansel for 9th position. As I think we've got through mostly clean, albeit quite spread out here.
We do have it pretty clean right now, as the biggest battle is between Linus Broström and Sebastian Magnusson, as Broström has already picked off Magnusson and setting his sights on trying to reel in those cars in front of him. As it looks like up in 3rd, Fredriksson and Janssen going after each other for 3rd.
Yeah, looking at that, it's a case of will they orchestrate a move if one thinks they're quicker rather than the other way around. Obviously, Fredriksson might have had the qualifying pace, but if Janssen feels like he has the race pace, then he definitely want to get past and try and help out the team. Looks like Philip Ansel going to be going for a move down into turn 1. There's contact between the two of them. Jonas Gunnarsson is off. Has he hit a wall? I think he has. That's not going to be very. That's not going to be a very happy Mercedes coming back onto the track there, Tony.
For those of you who are hockey fans, we'd call that 2 minutes boarding. But, boy, yeah, he got spit out and into the tire wall. Doesn't look like there's a ton of damage on that car. But, oh yeah, no, he definitely knocked the toe out of the front end.
Yeah, that's to be expected with a hit like that into that wall. Looking back up now for a battle for 11th, Linus Broström having to defend from fellow Linus Dahlman, as Broström taking the inside into the chicane here. Is Dahlman going to be able to find a way around that outside? He's going to have the inside for the second part, and yes, he does get around, but is there a switchback available here for the driver of the Ferrari? Doesn't look like there's going to be, and it's looking like we might have another move into turn 1 here. Sebastian Magnusson going to try one on Broström. Able to hang it around the outside is Linus Broström.
And that's going to open up Magnussen to Pana, as William Pana right on the back bumper of his fellow Mercedes. But these guys are getting it sorted out pretty quickly, and it's good to see that, you know, we're seeing hard racing, but most importantly, we're seeing clean racing going on here in the early going.
Yeah, but ooh, that's hard into the wall in the background. I think you triggered something by saying clean racing. Let's have a look at what happened there. So, Anton Oman just getting too much onto that curb, and unfortunately, looks like he also collected the BMW of Christian Sørensen, and that is smoking. That does not have a front end. There are lots of problems with that car, and well, he's just going to be looking to make a recovery in race 2, frankly.
Yeah, that's about all he can do at this point because that car is just roached. Smoking like a Cheech and Chong concert, as we sometimes call it. Meanwhile, back up into the mix, the Motul Mercedes of William Pauna trying to make some headway right now as he's getting a lot of pressure from that BMW of Andre Salander. And then battle for 6 really starting to get hot and heavy between Helipson and Yakaware as they were applying a ton of pressure to each other. They've gotten that sorted out a little bit here. Helipson, unfortunately, sideways coming through the back part of the S's.
Yeah, that's not going to help for them, and as we were watching that replay, the expected switch for third did happen. Gustav Jonsson thinks he's quicker, so has got past Oscar Fredriksson, presumably in a very organised move, as here we go. Andre Salander trying to make a move here on William Pauna. He's going to have the inside into the chicane. There's a bit of contact with checking up, and there's another car off, actually. That's Sebastian Magnusson that's off the track there. So we'll have to go and take a look what happened there just after we see the conclusion between Håkan Hertz and Fredrik Kalle Karlsson. Looks like there may be a move into the S's, just trying to see which way to go between the two BMWs, but the Bright Esports driver having to sit behind for now with his teammate in tow. What happened to Magnusson?
I dare say he just
went
missed
deep.
the braking zone.
Yeah, he just went deep, unfortunately, and had to slow down quite a lot to rejoin the track in a safe manner, so that is definitely not going to help his race, though he probably can fight back to try and get the reverse grid pole position, the all-coveted 20th position.
That's a big ask right now. He's got to make up 7 seconds. I'm sorry, 3 seconds. A little over 3 anyways.
Yeah, well, with the time left, shouldn't be too bad, but here we go again into turn 1. Andre Salander on Linus Broström. The Ferrari driver once again opting for the outside line and working again. So outside through turn 1, if you can hold it, keep the speed up, that is exactly where you want to be, because that is a very difficult corner to judge.
It is, and it didn't help Salander. It didn't help Salander at all. The fact that he just got too much curbing and really had to jam on the binders to stay off of Broström. But no harm, no foul. And wow. The lead that Sam Hammerstedt has, almost 3 full seconds, and we're only on lap 6.
Well, he's done exactly what he's done in practice, really. He's gone half a second quicker than anyone else in this race, and frankly left his teammates in the dust, as looks like we have an almighty battle here for 19th, as we did just miss Joachim Ulrichsen going past Linus Hellberg. But is Oliver Krusell going to try and get into the mix as well? We are just following Hellberg here through turn 1. Looks like they're going to be all fairly tame for now, and there's probably going to be quite a large battle at the front of the rear, of the train that's ahead of them, between Pauna, Carlson and Hertz. These cars that we've seen battling before. Very close.
I'm trying to see what happened to Holmberg. Being is that BMW has a ton of front end damage. not only front end damage, but he's missing his trunk lid, I think, or boot lid, as you guys call them.
Who? Sorry.
Dan Holmberg in the 79.
We saw there Carlson going down the inside of William Powner, and that's going to leave him very much exposed to the two bright esports cars behind him. Going to choose to defend the inside here, and no overlap into turn one, so no moves to be made. And while it would be funny of iRacing to bring in rain without telling anyone, and that Sky for a minute looked like that could be the case, I don't think they have.
Now I know they're talking about bringing in rain, but
Oh,
what?
Philip Broberg is off the track. It looked to me like that's another curb problem onto this short straight. That can be a very potent curb, and no, he went over it, completely past the first curb, and unfortunately that unsettled his car, and sent him around. And it looks like going from bad to worse for Jonas Gunnarsson here.
He just had another issue.
Fortunately, spending quite a lot of time in replays here as... whoa, that's just a spin coming onto the backstretch, and then get that back around, back going again. Didn't hit anything, which is the main bit.
Yeah, that's half the battle. You know, when you do make a mistake, is not getting too far into your own head and making sure that you can maintain without hitting anything. But anyways, like I was starting to say, Jason, about the whole rain coming in, which we're expecting that's going to be the iRacing holiday gift this season. I know you can't get the temperatures low enough to cause it, but if they do let you run real-world weather, let's say at Michigan, Pocono, Watkins Glen, in the middle of December, January, up here in the Northeast, we get this lovely thing. It's not rain. It's another four-letter word that nobody wants to hear. If you're a snowmobiler or a skier, you like it, but other than that, you hate it. Do you think they'll ever give us snow?
I mean, honestly, I'd say it could come purely because there's another discipline of racing there, really, as looks like there's going to be a move. So we'll quickly switch that as Yoko is making his move down the inside of Michael Hafliderson into the chicane. They're still going to be side by side for the second part.
A little bit of contact.
Backing out. Yeah, maybe a little bit of contact in there, and Hafliderson backing out just before the second part, and the Alpine Stars geodesic racing car able to take the position. So definitely not a lack of action here in round two, race one of the Svenska Eracingligan GT3 series. That was close in the final corner between Pauna and Håkan Hurt. Oh, that was even closer at turn one. Oh dear.
Oh.
It's
no quarter asked for, no quarter given.
yeah. So close that I want a replay from a different angle. Here we go. So William Powner, ever the opportunist, going around the outside of the final turn. Right, esports driver Håkan Hurt saying, nope, I don't want any of that. Tries to keep it on the inside. Not quite an overlap, I think, and having to absolutely jam it on the brakes to
Somebody's gotten
avoid.
into Pana. If you take a look at the back of that Mercedes,
Yeah.
he's taken a shot from somebody. And if I had to venture a guess, I dare say it was going to be Daniel Ulmer, being as that BMW has matching damage on the front of it.
So, why did Philip Ansel just pass Haflidason and gain 3 seconds immediately? Or am I imagining things?
You're probably imagining things. But no, it said that he did.
It said
Let's
that there was a
find out.
pass. And
Oh,
no pass to be
yeah,
seen?
no, there was a pass.
Okay,
And
I just did not see. Oh,
yeah,
yeah, it was handily hidden by
the bridge.
yeah, by the bridge and the tree. But yeah, that firmly was a pass.
As we are in race number 1 here at Road Atlanta for round number 2 of the GT3 series. Jason Software, Tony Trapasso up in the booth with you for this one. And hopefully our third partner in crime will be here before the end of the feature event. Currently 25 minutes right now. Or 25 minutes for this event. We're 16 minutes into it. As Sam Hammerstadt is already 5.5 seconds to the clear over a sea of Forza Esports drivers behind him.
Yeah. And I would like to thank our viewers on both YouTube and Twitch over on the Sim Racing Media channel on YouTube and the Svenska Racing Twitch channel. And yeah, I agree, Dennis. We need to cut down those trees. It blocks the view of my camera angle.
Marcus Hagman agreeing with me that yes, we need snow.
I agree, as Tim Orshgog going for a move down the inside of Axelson at the chicane. That leaves Axelson open for a move from the sole Audi in the field, Linus Dahlmann, who is able to also get past. So some great teamwork, really, between Orshgog and Dahlmann. Orshgog slowing Axelson up enough so that Dahlmann could also get past. Whether that was intentional or not, I don't know, but either way, it worked out very well for them.
And that's the beauty of having teammates out there, is the fact that you can talk strategy, and if you're running as close to your teammates as these guys are, all it takes is one slip up with your teammate throwing a block, a perfectly timed block, and next thing you know, you're able to slip through as well. Beautiful team strategy there, if it was an official team strategy.
And if it wasn't, they're going to claim that it was.
Absolutely.
Because you might as well.
Checking back with 14th and 15th, a little BMW on BMW crime there, as Carlson applying some pressure to Salander right now, coming into the chicane.
That's late.
That's netcode.
Oh no, that's not what you want to see. So let's get to analysing that one. So
bounds it in, ends up with a passenger, and then gets turned by the other
Yeah.
bright esports BMW.
Yeah, Cylinder in trying to defend from the number 60 of Carlson behind him. I think accidentally goes for a move on the 79 of Holmer, doesn't slow it up enough, and it's just unfortunately stopped on the racing line trying to be a sportsman and let Holmer onto the track before him. And, well, unfortunately for himself and Håkan Hurt, that didn't go very well as Cylinder got collected from behind. But here we go between two teammates. No, not going to happen unless orchestrated between Orskog and Dahlman.
As Magnussen trying to work the outside of Hellberg going into the chicane. That's battle for 17th. Makes that pass stick quite simply. It was Magnussen. Hellberg back to 18th, but still under the pressure, goes to the inside. Side by side, those two Mercs were coming into the final corner, but Magnussen able to stretch it out. As you can see, a little bit of front end damage on the 404 of Linus Hellberg.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, not too many cars getting away without much damage here, as well, it's a very tight track, and any hard racing is going to eventually have some contact between cars. Just so long as no one goes round, it's fine. But I think a car that's definitely without damage, running up at the front 6 seconds ahead of anyone. In fact, the car that you saw in the back of shot, not even second place. That is Robert Lundgren, who's been lapped now by Sam Hammerstedt up in the front for Forza Esports. And, well, looking at the practice times, looking at the qualifying times, we thought this was going to happen. It happened at Suzuka. Yeah. And it's going to be fun watching him fight back in race 2, that's all I'm going to say.
Which we didn't really see at Suzuka. As Linus Dahlman applying some pressure to his teammate Tim Arskog. As I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name of that team.
Right, well, I know we have people active in chat, so they can laugh at me if I get it wrong. Björkbears?
Okay, that's about what I was going to say. You're right there with what I was about to say. But a BMW and an Audi for that team. Not really what we see from other teams. Is, you know, most of the Forza Esports guys are driving the Mercedes. The Bright Esports guys are driving the BMWs.
Yeah, it's interesting to see a team with multiple cars. I think their livery designer gets paid double.
Yeah. Yeah, safe bet there.
I did get a close enough, so you can tell that pronunciation was decent enough, as we've got side by side through the S's. Hello, between Joachim Ulriksson and William Pauner. Let's take a look back at that, actually, because we did initially miss that. It's Ulriksson going for a move down the inside of turn 1, and obviously you get the good run around the outside, and Pauner trying to stick it around, but not quite going to work when Ulriksson had the inside into the first part of the S's. As, yeah, very true. Bright Esports does have a Porsche on track as well.
Currently slated right now, anyways, to start on pole for the feature.
Yeah,
so we've only got 1 minute left in this sprint race.
He's got 16 seconds behind him and a second ahead. If he wants to go for the move up front, then I guess he can have a try. But let's take a look. Where is our leader on track? Our leader is just coming into the chicane. So with 30-ish seconds left on the clock, we will be seeing another lap here.
That we will.
But in theory, we will be going onto the white flag lap here, so this should be your final lap. As our leader is trying to put a lap on everyone outside the top 20, with Andre Selander in front of him. No rush for him though, he's got 7.5 seconds behind him, but still tries to get through as soon as possible anyway. As is there going to be a move between teammates here on the final lap? Dahlmann's been threatening it, but better safe than sorry, I think, here.
Well, like the old saying goes, the only team orders a lot of these teams have are rule number 1, try not to kill each other, and rule number 2 is if you are going to kill each other, make darn sure it's a SportsCenter highlight for the next year.
Exactly. Get it on iRacing's monthly highlights if you do. And speaking of, if any of you haven't watched last week at Daytona, the next gens, that might be going on. That might be going on some highlights.
I clipped
Sam
that
Hammerstedt,
already. Yeah.
Sam Hammerstedt's come across the line with 20 laps completed here for race 1, and he wins it. He's going to be starting in 20th position. Jesper Eriksson comes home in second place, exactly where he started. Gustav Jonsson and Oscar Fredriksson, the only two to switch positions in the top 5, and Henrik Lindhoff rounding out that top 5. Jocke Höhe and Philip Ansel both doing a good job to gain 2 positions. Unfortunately, Michael Hofliderson losing 2 positions where there is gains. Unfortunately, there must be losses. So Tim Orskog gaining 3 and Linus Dahlmann gaining 4 to put them both up into the top 10. So good results there for the Björkbeers Racing team, and biggest mover, at least in the positive direction, Joachim Ulrichsen of Superior Underdogs, up 12 positions in 15th place.
Good solid run out of that car tonight so far. Going to be starting a little bit further forward in this race than he did the sprint race, so going to be interesting to see how this one does play out.
Yeah, exactly. So there are the final results, with your top 20 being only cars who were on the lead lap. And take this, flip it on its head, and that's what we're going to be seeing for the starting grid for this upcoming race. They are just in the warm-up, which I believe gets skipped. So we should be pretty soon into our second race.
And Jason, you broke some news a little bit earlier today, at least to me. I didn't know what was going on, but condolences to the entire British Empire, as we have lost the Queen today.
Unfortunately so, and it's never nice, is it? But
No.
the show and life must go on. As I don't think we are skipping up. So we can have some nice aerial shots here of the road circuit. You see just how wiggly the S's are from above.
Oh yeah, no, they are definitely not the easiest thing to negotiate.
No. I mean, especially if you're looking at the layout for the first time, you may be seeing that and going, hello, where do I go?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's usually what the deal is there, but all in all, pretty decent layout here. As there are a couple different options for the layout. There's the short course and then the full course, which home of the Petit Le Mans, they run the full course, and that's what we're using today in the GT3s.
Yeah, and short course, at least here on iRacing, tending to be used for MX-5s going around. There are no SimLab Production Car Challenge.
Right.
Has used that layout. It's very fun in a Jetta.
Well, the Jetta is fun to begin
send
with.
it. Yeah. Well, you're on road tyres, so you can do whatever you want with them, and they'll still last about a million years.
Well, the only thing you can really do to that car for tuning-wise is pull fuel out of it.
Yeah.
No, being as it's a diesel, you can use 2 gallons of fuel to get through a 10-minute race.
Oh yeah, I mean, if there's ever an endurance race and the Jetta's in it, for example, if someone does a 24-hour Lemons or something, then it's just going to be brilliant with a Jetta. I mean,
it's just basically a one-stop race at that point.
Yeah. You have stints 3 hours long, and you can triple stint your tyres every time.
Yeah, you can.
At that point, it's more driver endurance, to be honest. But
yeah, it's more driver endurance than car endurance, but it's definitely something. That might not be a bad idea for us here at Sim Racing Media to attempt to put on a race of that caliber.
I feel like we could do it, and I thought we were forgetting something. We were forgetting something. Apologies, Sam, for making you wait. I may or may not have forgotten that we were doing an interview, just like 2 weeks ago.
That's okay.
We will get it right eventually, but congratulations for your Race 1 win. To be honest, wasn't really too in contention.
No, I know I had good pace, and then I had my teammates behind me, so I know there was not going to be any trouble in the start, and then just focused forward, not making any mistakes, and it seemed to work out.
Yeah, and what's your strategy going to be here then coming through the grid? So you got 19 cars ahead of you to get through. What's the goal?
Yeah, well, last time I tried to be careful, and I crashed anyways, so be careful again, and with a little bit of luck, then it might go a bit better than the second race last time.
Yeah, go drive fast, don't crash, don't be crashed into. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, so fortunately, a bit of a rushed interview as we are gridding up.
I forgot as well, so don't feel bad.
Yeah, that's fine. We were just having our lovely time talking about the VW Jetta. But here is our grid then for the second race here at Road Atlanta. We've got Marcus Stromberg and Marcus Stiller in the front row with Linus Hellberg and Sebastian Magnusson. Row 2, William Palmer and Joachim Ulrichsen. On row number 3 with Daniel Holmer and Frederick Carlson. making your 4th row, and the top 10 rounded out by Linus Broström and Philip Axelsson, Linus Dahlman, and Tim Orskog rounding out your top 12, Tony.
Michael Halvorsen and Philip Ansel making up row number 7. Row 8 is going to go to Jakob Ware and Henrik Lindoff. Oscar Fredriksson and Gustav Jansson making up row number 9. Row 10 sees Jasper Eriksson and the winner of the sprint race, Sam Hammerstedt, back in 20th. Andre Salander and Philip Broberg making up row number 11. Robert Lundgren and Pontius Nordin making up row number 12. Row 13 is going to see Jonas Gunderson and Hackenstadt, Oliver Krussel and Anton Ullman in row number 14, and starting shotgun on the field, Christian Sorensen and Robert Eriksson.
And it looks like we do not have Robert Eriksson and
Or Ulrichsen.
we definitely have Ulrichsen in the session, because I can see him with 0 laps, so I think he did grid and then didn't.
Right.
So that may be a bit of a shuffle in whichever one. But maybe a few more fireworks here at the start, at the front, as it is not a top 5 lockout we are going to be having.
Not really, but if you take a look at that outside lane, that's a lot of superior esports cars in the even row.
That is indeed, and you have a better start sequence than I do, Tony, so take it away once again.
Well, as the pace truck gets ready to haul it on off, Marcus Stromberg going to have the button. The only thing he's still to say is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some barbecue because it's time to get it on in hot Atlanta. Race fans, it's showtime!
Pretty clean up at the front so far, and a bit of shuffling here as Daniel Holmer is unfortunately being forced backwards.
Oh my!
As you've seen something. Oh, there definitely
Holmer
has
just
been
went
something at the front.
Stromberg got the S's all wrong.
He did, and my computer not liking that, and Sam Hammerstedt down in 25th, so there's clearly been a lot happening here as more contacts. That's not good for our race 1 winner, as there's been massive shuffling in the pack here at Road Atlanta. We'll wait until the end of lap 1 to go and have a look at all of that, as we're still going to have action happening on track. Carlson maybe looking for a move on Daniel Holmer here into the chicane. An early move down the inside, is it going to be? No, he's going to choose to wait. Really quite smart to wait there. Cylinder getting overtaken by Fredriksson in the same place. A lot of action here for 10th as well. 10th and 8th being heavily contested. There's an absolute gaggle of cars rolling into turn 1. Again on lap 2. Is Fredriksson going to go for a move here? Ooh, he's going to stick his nose in. He's going to keep it there. Through the S's side by side. That's not something you tend to see, and that's why you don't see it. Linus Broström gets tagged in his right rear quarter panel and off into the tyre barrier.
Very lucky he didn't end up going over on that one.
Oh yeah, it looked like he was about to, and firmly a lot of action here. So where to start on the on the way through? I'm still scrolling up. Let's start with Marcus Stromberg on turn 1. He just went off. Plain and simple. From the lead, he just went off.
Yep. Right at the start of the S's, kind of just blew the braking zone.
Yeah, and piece of action after that was something happening to Sam Hammerstedt, and looked like he got caught up with his own teammates in a bit of a backlog behind a car further up. Linus Dalman was passed quite a few times in that whole melee. So yeah, Linus Dalman got spun there by Michael Flederson, and that caused a backlog of cars. Apologies for the blipping there, as it says Dalman went off track again afterwards. That he did, bit of a cut on the S's. And trying to get back onto the track. And after that, the main action was here. Håkan Hurt getting loose on the curb and crashing straight in front of the 015, straight in front of Sam Hammerstedt, also in front of Pontus Nordgren.
And when you get a chance, go take a look at when Robert Lundgren got punted off the track just recently.
Go and have a look at that now. But unfortunately, not much time to look at replays when you've got so much action. And oh yeah, ow, oh, that's yeah,
Yeah, that's no bueno.
yeah, and you can see what he thought of that by the fact that he is now just in the pit lane. Look at our top four. You could throw a blanket over these guys. Who says you can't bring the NASCAR terms into GT3?
Sure you can.
As the
Full
two
fendered cars with a diffuser in the back? Absolutely.
Yeah, sounds about right now, as two Team Superior cars. 1 and 2 here, so not expecting too many fireworks between those two, though not so sure between William Palmer and Philip Ansel behind. Never mind, team orders don't exist in Team Superior, as if they did, that was a very interesting place to do it, as Philip Ansel able to get himself past Marcus Stiller, as well as Philip Axelsen moving up into the lead, as we may have action still here into turn 1. Nobody actually quite slowed enough to have the car behind get alongside. But it was damn close to it.
I mean, these guys are trying to get it sorted out, but we are only working lap 5 of 50 here in the main feature race.
Yeah, clock just ticking over to 6 minutes of the 40-minute timer. So probably getting about 35 laps in, I think.
I dare say you're right. Up to 50 laps, let's put it that way.
Yeah. As 3rd through 7th are all here in shot. As, well, there's going to be some moves happening into the chicane. Who on who? I cannot tell yet, as first one up at the front is going to be William Pauner on Marcus Stiller. Then towards the back of the train, Jocke Hör is getting shuffled towards the back. That Team Superior car getting firmly shuffled back, as Gustav Jonsson, the Forza Esports car, already up here in 5th and followed closely in tow by Jesper Eriksson. 2 by 2 as we go down to turn 1 here at Road Atlanta. And they just about get themselves sorted out in time. That looks like it's going to be quite wide for Jocke Hör, but he stays on the track. And Forza Esports very much so able to get through the traffic by the looks of things, as they've got 4th, 6th and 8th here, with unfortunately their lead driver, you could say, not being here, but they're still trying to get through. Marcus Stiller is looking for a move onto the corner before the backstretch. That's going to make Jesper Eriksson not get a good run, though, so he's going to have to be careful from behind. So, using a bit of a slipstream train here for the Force Esports cars, as it looks like there's been a move for the lead as well, but just still looking at this, Henrik Lindhoff trying to get past Yoko, still not clear, and is now clear. Let's quickly move up to this battle, actually really not far away, this battle, as Philip Ansel did manage to get past Philip Axelson. Let's take a quick look back at that now while we have the time. Looks like it was just a simple move into the chicane, and it was, and same for Gustav Jonsson and William Pauner behind. But suddenly all of the action starting to come alive, as I don't think I've stopped talking in the past 3 minutes, Tony.
No, you haven't. I was just going to let you go because you were right up on it. Going back to this battle just inside the top 5. That is Jesper Eriksson in 5th. Oh no, big problems. Bromberg and Hammerstadt gotten into it. What just happened there? Oh man.
We'll have a look after this battle. The Force Esports cars still both trying to get past Marcus Stiller. That doesn't look good for Lindhoff. I think he got shuffled out a little bit there. Still very close between these guys.
Jason, let me know when you can pull that replay up about Hammerstadt.
I sure will at some point, but I'm afraid to leave the live action here as, well, there's now, once again, 2 Force Esports cars in form of Lindhoff and Fredriksson, still trying to get past Marcus Stiller, doing a fantastic job in that Team Superior car to try and defend. Speaking of Team Superior cars, there's also one in 3rd place in the midst of a battle, but going back for 7th. Looks like there could be a move here. Which side does Lindhoff want? He wants the inside. Well, I'm not sure if he wants it, but he's going to be forced there through the chicane. Outside into the chicane tends to work pretty well, but not so good of a run here for Marcus Stiller through, and he is going to get passed by Henrik Lindhoff. Fredriksson was looking for it.
He was definitely looking for it, but the door got slammed in his face. As these battles are starting to show some gaps. Fredriksson's still right there with Stiller, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you say we go back and take a look at what did happen to our race 1 winner?
Yeah, let's take a look. There's ooh, that's a really weird collision on the straight, and ow!
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. So what happened here between Linus Dahlman and... what else is that? Philip Broberg, is that?
That was Broberg, yeah.
That's Broberg in the Bright Esports car, and they just make contact down the straight. I don't really know what to say about that one. Yeah, they just fully made contact down the straight, and well,
unfortunately,
Hammerstadt very airborne
Mercedes. Nowhere to go. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is race over pretty much for Dahlman, Broberg, Hammerstedt, and Daniel Holmer is also staying for an extended stay down pit road. as is Linus Broström, Sebastian Magnusson and Robert Lundgren have both decided to retire the car officially. Looking up now to P1 and P2 are sort of trying to waltz away with it a bit. They've got a 2-second gap behind them now, as Gustav Jonsson trying to make it race 1 and race 2 for Forge Esports Academy. Not necessarily Academy, actually.
Take a look at the battle just inside the top 10. Marcus Stiller under heavy pressure from Jonas Gunnarsson right now as they come into the chicane side by side. Gunnarsson makes the pass, and here comes Stiller back.
Switchback move through the chicane. They're going to still be side by side through the final corner. Marcus Stiller seems to like a switchback here as he's gone for another one. Can he get a move into turn 1? No, he cannot. Not going to be close enough. So that 10th position is going to be Jonas Gunnarsson's now. For real, for good, if he can run away with it. And that AM Racing team car, he is up 15 positions, which is close to the most positions gained. Our second place driver, Gustav Jonsson, has gained 16 positions, sitting in second place right now. And Jesper Eriksson, his teammate, trying to follow suit. He's going to be trying to get past William Pauner into the chicane, moves to the left-hand side. He's going to have to get a good braking zone here to try and get past, and he's well ahead by the braking zone. That was a lovely little move there. A little bit of Merc on Merc crime, but lovely little move to get him into 4th position. And ever closer to his teammate up in 2nd. Synchronized flashing there as they go past the lap car.
Sure, why not? But definitely something that iRacing is going to need to look at is the balance of power between the GT3 cars. Is you take a look at your top 11 right now, they are all the German-made Mercedes.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear.
Battle for 3rd.
There's a battle in an interesting place, as Jesper Eriksson trying to get past Philip Axelsson and makes a very clean move out of it very quickly. Like he was able to get a run. Oh, that's William Pauner into the wall.
Wow.
See, that is a deceptively tricky turn. You want to get on the power so much earlier than you can onto the backstretch, and he's decided to bring that one in immediately. And yeah, I can see why. The front end doesn't exist. The only way I know it's a Mercedes is the AMG banner. We pan over to our leaders now, but yeah, deceptively tricky turn onto the backstretch. You really want to get onto that power, but if you get on it too early, well, William Pauner has displayed perfectly what happens.
Something just happened again to the sole Porsche in the field. Looks like he got it wrong going into 1.
Take a look at that one. He was already off by that point. Let's have another look. Again, already off by that point. I'll find it eventually, trust me. And there we go. Is it going to be... That is what we call a Porsche moment.
Mm-hmm.
Having your engine behind you can do that to you sometimes.
Oh, there's a reason why back in the 70s they referred to the Porsche 911 as the Widowmaker.
Yeah, and meanwhile there was Haas for the lead. Let's take a look at that one. Is it going to be into the chicane once again? Yep. In fact, Jonsson had the run before the chicane, before the braking zone. He was able to get back in line onto the racing line. And has made the move for the lead. Philip Ansel probably just looking to stick with him. As maybe thinking that Johnson is firmly quicker, but may be able to stick with him, though it's less of a slipstream heavy track, as there's a lot of twisty section to go through, so that dirty air really doesn't help you.
It does not. As your closest battle on track right now is the battle for 10th between Marcus Stiller and Andre Salander. And they've got Gunnarsson not that far from them.
Yep, they don't. Well, if they keep it line astern, they may be able to catch up. Though I believe Gunnarsson did move through past Stiller before, so maybe he's just going to be trying to run away. But Salander could be looking to do the same here. Is Stiller going to move to defend? No, he is not. Salander having to go to the left-hand side and not able to get alongside during the braking zone, but able to put Marcus Stiller off enough to disrupt his line and able to get him on exit. Lovely little move there. Is there going to be a retort into turn 1? Nothing to come from Marcus Stiller, who has unfortunately gone backwards, but so is the nature of a reverse grid race. There has to be one. Unfortunately, it was Marcus Stiller, but he had one of the best starting positions in the house, so can't complain too much, to be honest, I'd say.
You know, you were talking about the reverse grid. There are currently 4 drivers that are sitting plus 16 in this field. Third place Jasper Ericsson's plus 16. Ninth place Jonas Gunnarsson is sitting plus 16. 12th and 13th of Anton Ullman and Christian Sorensen, both sitting plus 16. But your biggest mover is your current race leader, Gustav Jansson.
Yep,
sitting
he's
plus
indeed up
17.
Another one got passed fairly swiftly there by Sorensen. Let's see.
He went
how
off
that
track.
happened. Yeah, looked like it. Oh, actually no. Just let him by. A bit of heads-up trying there from Herman, maybe just believing that Sorensen's going to be quicker, so letting him through. Why not? If you don't think it's your race, what's the point fighting it, really? As we're still only halfway through.
Hackenstadt putting a move on Linus Hellberg right now. Makes that pass stick, and up into 14th goes the BMW.
Yeah, that's why I didn't see it, because that's a very... that's an interesting place to make a move, let's say it that way. But
Yeah.
I guess if you can make the move, why not? He could and did, but is there going to be a move back from Linus Hellberg into the most common overtaking spot on this track, into the chicane? He's not going to be close enough to this time around, but going to be looking to stay on the back of that bright esports car to perhaps make the move next time around. And I don't think we're going to get 5th, 6th and 7th off each other for the rest of this race, Tony.
Probably not, but hats off to Yoko Ware for keeping those 2 Forza Esports cars behind him. Probably driving the wheels off that Mercedes that he's got right now. But nobody wanting to put in the car in a bad situation yet, as we're 22 minutes into this feature race, and we've seen a lot of action already, Jason, and I don't think we're done.
Absolutely, and Oliver Trussell coming in for a pit stop, which reminds me nicely of the need to have a pit stop in this race.
Mm-hmm.
So we can see there, Ulrichsen has completed a pit stop as well. No, he hasn't. That says it was lap 0. So, all that. It says Carlson has completed 2. I wouldn't believe that one either, to be honest. But Nordgren and Orskog both having completed one. And basically, anyone below 16th is either out or has completed their pit stop. And we'll see whether it shakes anything up here. As it definitely has the potential to shake up this group here, or 5th through now to 8th, as Michael Fleverson has joined this pack.
He has at that, and yeah, these guys are just kind of biding their time right now. And just as I say, thanks Hendrik Lindoff for making the liar out of me, as I said he was biding his time and made a bomb move going into the... And we've got a battle for second hot and heavy as well, Jason. And that's Ericsson all over Ansel coming up through the S's.
Yeah, we do have that. Gustav Jonsson was able to get away from Philip Ansel after making the move, and Jesper Eriksson trying to follow his teammate's suit. Whereas 4/10 currently the gap between them. A feeling from looking at the fastest lap times, Jesper Eriksson's fastest was a 17:49. Philip Ansel's fastest 17:99. So this move, I have a feeling, is going to happen at some point.
Big problems for Dan Holmer coming up through the bus stop. Boy.
No move here for second, so let's take a quick look back at that. And yeah, into the chicane. Ooh, grass on exit.
And that's a bridge, dude.
Yep, that's been censored by the bridge. As we have pit stops here, Jesper Eriksson and Michael Hafliderson coming into the pit lane, which is going to split this battle a little bit. Hafliderson had caught up to these guys in the train headed by Philip Axelsson now. But we'll see whether that undercut's going to work well for him. I wonder what the pit strategy is here. I feel like track position could be very good, as it looks like at the back of this train, the two Force Esports cars, they're swapping positions, Fredriksson and Lindoff.
One of the reasons why I've never been good at GT3 is I do not know how to double stint tires.
Fair
That's
enough.
probably what you're going to need to do here tonight to make something happen.
Well, your stints in any long race are normally about an hour long, as we see the top two coming into the pit lane. A couple of guys peeling off here as well. Axelsson and Fredriksson both peeling off, as did Philip Ansel. But yeah, tyres not going to be an issue here, so long as you don't absolutely rag the beak out of the car.
That's how I drive.
Yeah, fair enough. But
As Jocko Ware and Hendrik Lindoff are both electing to stay out. Wow. 18 seconds to the good right now. But they still have to come down for their mandatory stop.
yeah, time to there you go. Utilise the tower to see who has stopped, who has not. Out of your top 10, there are only 4 cars yet to stop. That is our top 3. And then 6th position, Håkan Hurt. But I feel like with most people stopping, these guys are going to be coming in fairly soon. And here they come to prove me wrong. But no, they both come into the pits. Pretty tricky pit lane entry here, I would say. You've got to get over fairly quickly onto an unsighted pit entry and get it slowed down enough. That's both these guys now coming down pit lane. Christian Sørensen also coming in. That's going to relinquish the lead back to our leader before the pit stops, Gustav Jonsson. But my question is, where is this 4-car, 5-car battle going to be? As Oscar Fredriksson is fairly lonely in comparison to what he was. What's the pit exit going to be like for the cars that were around him? Jokka has done very well there, by the looks of things. Gained a decent chunk of time on Oscar Fredriksson and Henrik Lindhoff, but maybe we'll see that train reforming for the Paxelson who was at the front of it. Would now be third, fourth, in fact, in line. So, not the best pit lane time for him by the looks of things.
For who?
Axelson.
Yeah, Axelson did slip. I believe he took tires. And a little extended stay for Philip Ansel as well, as he currently runs in third. He was 17 seconds just in his box. And you compare that to the 11 flat for Jokka Ware. Ansel probably was getting a little bit of damage repair.
Yeah, maybe taking a few seconds of damage repair, as we've got Jonas Gunnarsson making it past Andre Selander just before the chicane, but no, you would firmly know if they took tyres. I mean, it's a long stop.
Looks like Marcus Stiller just had some issues.
Yep. Looks like it. Let's take a look why he went off the track. Looks like that braking zone is the chicane again.
That's exactly what got him.
Yeah, coming back on. Just in front of Erman. And it looks like we have missed an absolutely major battle between Haflidason and Axelson, but I don't think it's over. So let's keep watching up to the chicane, as Axelson is going to be looking to the inside. Got a good chance if he can get it alongside, but he can't. So Haflidason going to get the line, but hiding behind that tower. Is there a Mercedes ready to pounce? Looks like there could be. If he's close enough, he could look for a move here into turn one. It's brave. Does look, but he doesn't go. So maybe just trying to put Haflidason off a little bit there and say, look, I'm here. Be prepared to defend from me. Yeah.
As green flag pit stops, really, as we're closing in on halfway, that mandatory pit stop really shook this field up quite a bit. A lot of separation up at the front of this piece, as your current race leader, Gustav Jonsson, currently sits 3.5 seconds to the good over Jasper Eriksson, who is another 4 seconds to the good over Philip Ansel. And Jokka Ware right here, that is your closest battle on track. And just as I say that, Helveson and Axel Stein.
That's a way of pronouncing that. Can I assume something happened, Tony?
Yeah, Axelson almost got into Helveson.
Well, let's take a look, see if that happens again into turn one. But once again, Axelson having a look and then not going for it. I like to pull that trick myself. Get into the driver in front of his mirrors. Maybe they'll make a mistake. But hopefully
Oh, he wasn't in his mirrors. He was right alongside him going through the chicane. There was almost contact.
Well, that's a way to announce your presence as well. But hopefully not deterred as of yet, with the rather large Mercedes behind him. I thought this battle for fourth rather, would come back together, and it has.
Fredrickson applying some pressure to Jaco Ware right now. Ware slams the door going into the chicane. Fredrickson's going to fall back into the clutches of his teammate Hendrik Lindoff as they come into the final corner just past the we are at the halfway mark right now.
We are very much past it, as we were 33 minutes 45 seconds into this race. There's only...
Oh, sorry, I was looking at laps. Never mind. I'm sorry, folks.
6 and a bit to go. That is fine. Still getting used to the format a little bit here, as we will have a little listen and a little look on board with Oscar Fredrickson here, as he is chasing down Cover. Bit of a mistake there, coming out onto the backstretch for Wirt, so Fredrickson looking to be able to get alongside. He's going to have to swing out to the left. Have the Alpine Stars geodesic car right alongside. Let's switch back to an off-board camera to see this move happen into the chicane. And looks like Wirt's going to get a very, very nice run out of the chicane, but is he going to be able to use it anywhere is the question. Going for a different line through the final turn and able to get to the outside of Fredrickson through turn 1. Is this going to happen? It's not going to happen, having to defend behind from Lindoff, in fact, as he finds himself in a Porsche Esports sandwich. So
not an enviable position to be in for Ware right now.
Yeah. Exactly. As
and
attacking one way, defending the other.
Yeah, they have to. They have to get this sorted out pretty quickly, because Philip Ansel running by his lonesome up in front of them, starting to pull a little bit of a gap out to 2 seconds now over this battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th. And they're losing ground quickly to the podium.
Yeah, Oscar Fredrickson going to be able to firmly look forward for now, as he's going to try and make it a Porsche Esports 1, 2, 3, as Henrik Lindoff going to try and follow him to see if he can make a challenge for 4th position as well, but not able to get past Jaco Ware at this time. Looks like Anton Ehrmann's got some defending to do against Håkan Hurt.
So, just starting to take a look at that one.
Yeah. Let's take a look at it as the Ferrari stays on the right, so the BMW can swing to the left to the inside of the chicane. And a bit of a mistake there for Anton Ehrmann, going quite deep. It's going to let the BMW through. Fairly sharpish, as this battle for 5th is still going on, don't you worry.
And they have caught 3rd.
Yeah. Fredrickson firmly caught Philip Ansel, and is actually bringing this battle with him. Lindoff going to be looking for a way through. He's got options here. He can choose which side he wants. He wants the left. Could have swung to the right if he wanted to for the inside of the second part of the chicane. Chooses the inside for the first bit. He's going to have to be strong on the brakes, and he is very, very strong on the brakes, but not the best line through, which is going to allow Jaco Ware back alongside towards the final corner. And that is going to work out for him. But once again, different line through through the final corner, though this time doesn't work out into turn 1. Any moves into the start of the S's are, well, you have to be alongside before you're there. He wasn't, but this is getting very close, and battle for third is getting very, very close as well. I think we'll choose this one. It looks to be very close, Tony.
It does at that. It's Fredrickson all over the back bumper of Ansel as they come down the back chute, and it's going to be a drag race till they get to the chicane. Slight kink here on the backstretch. Down the hill they come as Fredrickson looks to the inside. This could get interesting when they get to the braking zone. Oy. Ansel just sends it. What a move to keep Fredrickson behind him. The question is, how much longer can he do it?
Well, I think he's only got 2 laps to have to do it in, as Gustav Jonsson is already a decent way around the track. So he will be taking white flag next time by, but look at this up towards the S's. Oscar Fredrickson taking the opportunity, seeing that Ansel was slightly slow out of turn 1 and just choosing where to put his car magnificently and making a move in a very audacious manner, and not a place you normally see a move, but that's brought this 4-car train right back together, as they have about 1.5 laps left to run here. As
he saw the gap, he pulled the trigger and made it stick.
Absolutely, that is a if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver type move, but working out pretty well for him. What type of moves are going to be made here? Is it going to be work on Ansel? It's going to be none of them. They're not quite able to get anything done. Looks like Axelsen has got past Hafliderson in the background as well. These 3 absolutely nose to tail as they come onto the final lap. As the clock ticks over, this will be your final lap then, guaranteed, as Ansel is going to have to be defending for his life. They're looking to nearly be 3 wide. That's not a good idea. You should know that. Yeah, contact between them. I'm not surprised. As
Ware and Lindroth got into each other.
Yeah. Lindorf trying to find a way around Ware, and Ware trying to find a way around Ansel. Ansel trying to keep both of them behind, as I have a feeling this is going to get very spicy into the chicane.
Safe bet, especially with the toe that the drafting is going to give to everybody behind Ansel. You know, he's right now punching the hole for Ware and Lindorf, as not close enough to really get anything off of Fredrickson. As here comes Ware to the outside, outside going into the first part of the chicane. Thinks better of it though. Doesn't want to put either car in a bad situation.
Yeah, checkered flag is in the air, and the top 2 have taken it. Force Esports 1, 2, and then 3, as Fredrickson's going to come across. Someone doesn't want to do an extra lap, as very close up to the line. Only 1.5 tenths between Ansel and Ware, as bit of flashing there. Say a good battle, because it was a great battle up at the end there. But what an impressive run! I think Force Esports showing themselves to be a little bit dominant here today. As 1, 2, 3, Lindorf couldn't quite make it through the train, so he's in 6th position, and it was unfortunate for Sam Hammerstead getting involved in early incidents. So he had to retire into 26th position, but that is going to go very well for Gustav Jonsson up at the front of the standings as well, because he was already first in standings, and they are forming a lovely little rolling roadblock here. The Ferrari behind them maybe not too happy about that one with the flashing, but what are you going to do?
Yeah,
you can't get through.
Boils down to. as we are just waiting for drivers to get into the Discord server. But like you mentioned, the race 1 winner, unfortunately, Sam Hammerstadt, caught up in an early one here in race number 2, and caught up in a second one that saw him catch more airtime than the snowboard at the X Games. But what a drive we just saw out of those Forza Esports cars for the second time in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you get a top 5 in race 1, and you get a top 3 in race 2 of a meet. You can't be displeased with that, to be honest. I mean, they were in Suzuka 1, 2, 3, 4 for race 1, and then 1, 2, and 4 for race 2. So they've done themselves very well, and Joko Wur once again showing himself to be very good in race number 2.
He finished 6th in race number 1, finished 5th in race number 2. And the interesting note here, Ware and Lindoff finished 5th and 6th in both races. They just flipped each time.
Well, fair enough. Yeah, they did. They're both +10, so that makes sense. And let's see. We have our drivers. Shall we take 3rd place moving up?
Sure, why not?
Well then, let's bring in our 3rd place driver, Oscar Fredriksson. Hello.
Hello.
Well, 3rd place. You can't be displeased with that.
No, I'm really happy about that. Had just a nice and calm and easy race. Yeah, pretty good result.
It may have been a calm race to your end, but I wouldn't necessarily call it easy with some of the battling you had to go through to get there. It's some lovely stuff, especially for you and your teammate Henrik. Did you have a particular highlight of those battles?
Definitely my pass for the podium on like the second to last lap or something with the switchback in turn 1. That was really scary, but I'm happy I pulled it off. But yeah, maybe not such an easy race from the outside, but I just took it with a team that we have plenty of time and we have good pace, so just take it nice and easy and let the overtakes come one after one, and then chase after the next one, and just don't force anything, don't do any silly mistakes, and just get to the front, which we did.
Yeah, it's all about keeping the car in one piece at the end of the day, really, but it was a great job. And Tony, do you have any questions for our 3rd place finisher?
No questions, just want to say congratulations on a 1, 2, 3 finish in both races for Forza Esports. Looking forward to seeing what you guys can do in the next one.
Yeah, we're on a great streak at the moment with at least a double podium in the reverse grid race last week, I think it was.
Yes.
So we're definitely looking to keep this good momentum going for the next race.
Yeah, and before we let you go celebrate with your team, who do you need to thank?
Of course, everybody in the team. We had great teamwork, especially with Henrik there towards the end. So we were really happy that we could work together really well, and also a big thank you to the team's sponsors, Mabi Hyrbilar and Kababar.
Oh, well, we will let you go and celebrate just after we interview your other 2 teammates on the podium. So congratulations for the 3rd place.
Thank you.
So, and I believe, Tony, you have Jesper Eriksson with you now.
Jesper Eriksson, congratulations on another podium here at Road America. Talk us through your strategy coming into the feature event tonight.
Well, the strategy was just take it easy, be calm and just make the moves when you see when they are the best to make and capitalize on people's mistakes. And that's what I did.
Well, you were able to, wrestle second away pretty early. Couldn't quite get close enough to your teammate Gustav to, get the top step of the podium. But all things considered, you started almost dead last in the invert. So pretty solid run out of the 37 here tonight in Atlanta.
Yeah, it was epic. It was a lot of fun. I was just lucky to not get involved in any wrecks like a lot of other people were. So a lot of luck plays into this, but a lot of strategy too, which worked out in the end.
Well, you kept the car out of trouble, and that was going to be the key, especially with the elevation changes that happened here at Road Atlanta. Couple of sketchy moments, though, coming into the final chicane.
Yeah, a lot of sketchy moments in the final chicane. It's quite scary going to there because when you make an overtake, if you brake too late, you can just switch back. If you brake too early, you're not gonna make the pass. So you need to be absolutely perfect, and they need to make a mistake. And it's so hard to just get past there, even though that's the best overtaking opportunity.
Well, that's one thing that you gentlemen from Forza Esports, the different teams on that group, but you guys have shown that you have the skill level to make those passes work and not cause contact with the other cars. But Jasper, we're gonna let you go celebrate with your team. Who do you need to thank before we turn you loose, sir?
First of all, all the sponsors, Moby, Hibilar, and Jonas, the team boss, and just everyone that helps us. All the teammates too, they did amazingly. I'm so proud of each and every single one of them. Super, super proud. And yeah, and you guys, of course, for sticking up and making a stream out of this, so people can watch.
I know I can speak for Jason, Frank, and myself when I say this. The three of us love GT3 racing, and we jumped at the chance to get that on the channel.
Well, that's perfect.
You guys have not at all disappointed in the first two races of the season. Best of luck to you moving forward, and we will see you next week in the Cup cars.
Absolutely. Good luck, boys. Nice talk.
That was your second place winner, Jostef Eriksson, and I believe, Jason, you've got the man of the hour with you now.
I do indeed. It was a great finish in Heat 1, and it was an even greater finish in the feature, Gustav.
Yeah, it went very well, I would say. It was the same mindset as in Suzuka, the last race, so yeah, it went pretty good.
Well, I guess you can't exactly ask for much more, and to be fair, I think you're proving yourself to be a bit of a race 2 specialist. You seem to have something that some of the other drivers may not have in the ability to get around traffic and get through to the lead. What do you reckon? You may have?
Yeah. I mean, it's when you're starting at the back, it's always going to be clashes ahead. So you just have to stay consistent and not just make any dumb moves and just work your way forward slowly but steady. So just chip forward.
Yeah, chipping forward indeed, and now looking forward to the next GT3 race in the calendar. I guess, unfortunately for you, we're not going to have a reverse grid race. It's going to be a 60-minute race at Mount Panorama, Bathurst. I finally get to buy that in iRacing.
Yay!
How do you think that one's going to be for you?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough one. I mean, the track is it's very narrow and stuff, so I think it'll be a bit harder than Suzuka and here at Atlanta, but I think as a team force we will make it a good one as well.
Yeah, and I trust you guys to make it a good one. To be honest, you had two great races so far, and before we let you go and celebrate the second one, who do you need to thank?
yeah, of course, 4C Sports and everyone in the team. Yeah, and then my dad as well, because I were actually not going to make this race because I have a karting race. But yeah, he made me make this one as well.
Well, congratulations on the victory, and hope to speak to you again in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Well, Tony, that just about rounds us off for the second race.
Got another one in the books, and
yeah,
these guys never fail to impress.
correct.
I was riveted at Suzuka for the season opener, and now we come to Road Atlanta for round number 2. And I dare say the action's getting better the more comfortable these guys get running around each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, it may have been slightly more chaotic and a little bit more crash heavy than race 1 was. But our race 2, the main race today, has been excellent, provided great battling. And here are the results for it. So we've spoken to Gustav Jonsson, Jesper Eriksson, and Oscar Fredriksson, 1, 2, and 3. Then Philip Ansel and Jocke Wurt rounding out your top 5. Henrik Lindhoff, Michael Friesen, Philip Axelsson, Andrei Selander, and Jonas Gunnarsson rounding out the top 10, Tony.
Christian Sorensen coming home in 11th. Hackenschott, Anton Ullman, Marcus Stiller, and Frederick Carlson rounding out your top 15. Marcus Stiller being scored as the last car on the lead lap. Linus Holmberg coming home in 16th. 17th goes to Joachim Ullertsen, Pontius Norgren, Oliver Krussel, and Tim Arskog rounding out your top 20. William Pauna, Marcus Stromberg, Dan Holmer, and Linus Dahlman and Philip Bromberg rounding out your top 25. Sam Hammerstadt, a night he would just as soon forget, coming home in 26th. 27th going to Sebastian Magnussen. Robert Lundgren, the last car to actually take the... I'm sorry, Robert Lundgren and Linus Broström, the last 2 cars to take the green here tonight. Robert Eriksson, unfortunately, did not start either event.
Yeah, well, it's definitely been an interesting one, and I just think back for Sam Hammerstedt, it's very unfortunate for him. I mean, he definitely has the pace, but it happened at Suzuka and it happened here where there was just an incident that happened. Suzuka was definitely a less of a major incident, as he still finished that race in 4th, but he's just not had the luck on his side in the second races, and I have a feeling if he did have the luck on his side, he may well have been leading this championship, but it's going to be fairly comfortably led by Gustav Jonsson after this, as he was already in the lead to start with.
Yeah, coming home second week in a row on the top step of the podium definitely helps, especially considering that during both sprint races, he finished on the podium. So the only driver yet that has finished on all 4 podiums in the GT3 division, and that's why he is atop the point standings right now. Speed wins races, but consistency wins championships, and that's exactly what Gustav Jonsson has been proving here this season so far.
Yep, it does indeed, but we will have to see what happens in 2 weeks' time with another fairly radical change in the format, as we have some races that are going to be a similar format to this, where you've got a heat and a feature. Then we simply have a 60-minute feature in 2 weeks' time around Bathurst. Then we're back to the same format for Imola. then it's going to be the same format as Bathurst. For Sebring after that, Fuji is going to be an interesting one, because that so far on the 3rd of November is looking to be 15, then 20, then 20-minute races. So I have to ask about that one close to the time. But it's
the one that's got me
when the format changes.
Well, the one that's got me my interest peaked is with the new damage model. What's going to happen at Sebring? Because that is a very unforgiving circuit, and even in the real world, 12 hours of Sebring, it's not uncommon for suspension parts to fail just by driving around the track, especially considering that the final straightaway before the start finish line through that sweeper, turn 17 is a monster, and it's very easily can rattle the fillings out of your teeth.
Well, that track may as well be a roller coaster, and it's built on an old airfield, so it goes to show how bumpy it is. But I think that about rounds us out, Tony.
It absolutely does, Jason. It's been a pleasure as always. So for Mr. Jason Sawford and the entire crew here at Sim Racing Media, this is Tony Passo. Remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that as you walk down the road of life this week, and until we meet again, whatever you do, don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.
Good night.